everyone, I'm Richard Alomar. I am a professional landscape architect. I also teach landscape architecture at Rutgers University, and I'm the chair of the Department of Landscape Architecture there. So I'm originally from New York City. I was born and raised in the Bronx and Manhattan. But I went to high school and college in Puerto Rico, and I went to live with my grandparents. And my grandparents lived in a rural area in southwest Puerto Rico. My grandfather, he worked for the experiment station, the agricultural experimentation. They had a small plot of land where they had pigs and chickens, and they grew flowers. My grandmother planted a lot of flowers and also vegetables. So I had a great connection to the land there, especially in that rural areas. There weren't a lot of houses or anything. There were just a lot of sugarcane fields and just open fields and stuff. So we were very aware of the landscape. My grandfather was an incredible he really understood the land. So he would only plant certain plants during a certain phase of the moon. He was aware of when it was going to rain and when it wasn't going to rain. He was aware of the stars in the sky. So he taught me how to take interest in the land, respect the land, and understand that I was also part of the land. Kind of an interesting project. It's actually built on old piers from when Manhattan had piers on the west side, close to the river, where the ships would come in. Because all of this back here, these were all warehouses. Yeah, that first understanding of the land that my grandfather gave me led me to study agriculture. And just by happenstance, I started working on a farm in the south, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And there I got a better understanding again of forage production and animal care and things like that. So I decided to study landscape architecture, and I'm very grateful for that, because landscape architecture is a profession about not only plants and land, but also about sustainability, climate change, climate adaptation. You know, how one profession works with other professions to be able to build sustainable and equitable land wherever we go. The beauty of this island is, as you can see, is the topography. The change in grade. So you go from the river, and you have a grade change and greenery all the way up to the top. And those big casements you see are actually protrusions of the actual pier that held the pier originally. So in our department, we have our motto is to build a more just world that honors the ground we walk on and the people we walk with. Meaning that we're all in charge of taking care of the land. Landscape architects, engineers, community organizers, doctors, lawyers, we're all a part of this land, and we're all responsible for it, right? So we all need to be good stewards. As far as environmentalism and climate change, we always talk about leadership. Everybody wants to be a leader, but if everybody's a leader, there's no one left to do the actual work. So I like to espouse to being just a steward, a caretaker of the land, and that harkens back to what my grandfather taught me. We all need to take care of the land in whatever way we can, right? And that's what I try to do as a professor, and as a teacher, and as a professional in landscape architecture.
Oh Jesus.
Let me keep my hat on. It not only creates beautiful greenery and open space for Manhattan, but it also creates a lot of public space for activities. So, for example, the amphitheater. This is an incredible gathering space. It's very well designed. It's very well done. The materials that are used are very sustainable, right? And they were chosen with great care. So if you look around, there's a lot of stone. There's a lot of aggregate concrete. This is almost like an incredible lush kind of upland kind of planting, which is really nice to look at. So since we kind of when we live in urban areas, we're a little bit disconnected from what we understand the land to be. Just because we live in urban areas doesn't mean we don't have an ecology. Doesn't mean we don't have a landscape, right? We have an urban ecology and an urban landscape, right? There's insects, there's all bugs, there's plants everywhere. Then there's an incredible amount of knowledge that needs to be acquired if you really want to be a part of the land that you live in. Not only understanding how the land works, but also at the political and community level. So all the land that we live on is regulated through policies, laws, and guidelines. So the better we understand what policies drive land use, and zoning, the better off we are. The better that we know about our politicians and where their stances are on things related to the environment and to the land, the better off we are. The more we can engage with community groups who have an interest in the land and the environment, the better off we are. The more educated that we get as far as environment, the landscape, policy, the better off we are. The more we work together at all levels, at all different places, the better off we are.
Yes. Awesome. That's a good message to end on.
Great. Okay, good.
So we could probably leave at 11. We could find something. There's like a market. There's a food